Hi! I know I've missed y'all like crazy. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kim Ray. You're watching Kim Ray Music TV, and this is a Belair review. Season 1, episodes 1 through 8. Is it giving? Is it giving? Is it giving? We are just gonna talk about the whole season because I think that's the whole season. Because I literally binged all yesterday. We're gonna talk about it, but first let me share all my links. Make sure if you're new, you do all of the things. My audio is great. I'm sharing, copy the link. I need to share to Twitter. And I need to share to. Okay, if you're new here, you already need to subscribe. You need to do that. You need to do that like now. If you are already subscribed, welcome back. I missed you like crazy. Okay. We're here to talk about the show. Just let me get some of the business out of the way, baby. So I like to do my Instagram live for a little bit, not a long time. Try! Hello. Hi. Hi. Oh my gosh. Hi. Listen, I poured up my tea, my detox tea. That's That's good. I poured up my tea, and I'm like, we gonna get on up in here. I miss doing this, and as you guys know, I have a very demanding job. But yeah, so as far as Instagram, if you're tuned in to the Instagram live, we are only going to be here for a good time, not a long time. Good time, not a long time. If you will hop over to if you'll hop over to YouTube, then we can continue talking over here. Then yeah, we could do that. Oh, this is my godmom. Hello, ma'am. You forgot me. Busy life, huh? I would have never forgotten you ever. When did I forget you? Oh no, please text me. All right, let's discuss the show. So Belair is it premiered on Peacock a while ago. Okay. And the thing about Belair is we know that back in the 90s, it was a family sitcom. It was not this whole like scripted drama series, romantic comedy. They never made it into a movie. But y'all know, in the spirit of remakes and spin-offs, everyone has been talking about Belair and what it was going to be, what's going to happen to it. And I'm sure I hadn't heard nothing from nobody except for this one person. Maybe it just wasn't popular enough. I hadn't. Oh, let me see. Check your text. Educator opinion requested. Let me see. He told me throw it back. A bow. Let me want. That's how I know these numbers are not working, because. Well, let me see, because I don't see. Let me, when I knew how hard we understand, you may not be looking. Okay, let me see. What you think you know? Oh. Well, why didn't I get this? Kindergarten and third grade, Florida said it. Don't say. It said protesters saying the kids pushing. Let me see. Like, don't ask, don't tell. We'll chat about it. I will keep this open so I remember to text you back after. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by and getting me together on the text, because I surely did not Let's see. Okay. All right, y'all. So yes, so I don't think that anybody was really talking about like a remake of Belair. They definitely was remaking everything else and having reunions and having crossover. You know, Fuller House came on, all these different things, but I don't think anybody was talking about remaking Belair. So this guy named Mark Cooper, who was a filmmaker, is a filmmaker, producer, writer, you know, creator, content creator. Okay. He had this idea and put out this trailer of, or I don't even know if it was just a trailer. I think he did like a short, a short, a short form. Y'all know the word I'm thinking about. He did like a little project, right? A little video of like basically episode 1. If Belair or if Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a drama. So did that. It gained all this traction online, and eventually Will Smith saw it, right? And he really loved the idea. And they kind of, what I really like about this whole process is that they didn't exclude him. They didn't just pick up the show and pay him off. Like, no, he was heavily involved. He's executive producer on the show Bel-Air. And Will Smith, like, worked with him. If you watch the video on Peacock's YouTube, Mark, I think his name is Mark Cooper. He went to the set of Bad Boys 3. They discussed it. Will Smith really liked it. Peacock picked it up for 2 seasons now. So I'm waiting on season 2. And the thing about these scripted series or these series on these apps is that it's very hard to review because you can just watch the next episode. And it's very hard for me, like Harlem and 20s. I wanted to review all those shows, but it's like you want to keep watching. It's better when you know like the episode's going to drop. And I think that's the same thing with Bel-Air. Like just like a lot of these other shows, they hold the episode for the next week. So I'll be able to catch up for season 2. But anyway, I was watching and I was just like, I'm not going to discuss it because I'm super late to the show. But as I was watching, I start tweeting because it's just like, you just want to talk about it because it's just so good. So, I'm gonna jump off of Instagram. Ain't nobody even on here anyway. Bye, y'all. Bye. Maybe I'll get back in a minute. So yeah. So I'm thinking while I'm watching, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This like really good. Like, what is happening? And the guy, Mark Cooper, he's like heavily involved in the casting and like he's the executive producer and he's, you know, like where it's shot at, the like everything, the whole process. And I think that's really good because too many times, my first thing is too many times companies just buy and take, right? And they discredit and like don't include anyone else who was a part of it originally. And then the second thing is this is great for like content creators and dreamers and like kids to see that all this time when parents and people be saying you wasting your time in front of that little phone on social media, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter. No. If this is your dream, this is something that you really want to do, you are not wasting your time. You're not wasting your time. Put your heart, put your soul, put your all into your project, get it out there because you never know who's watching you. You never know. Do y'all think that he thought Will Smith was going to see that? Or do you think he was just like passionate about telling the story? This is just something that he do. He enjoys it. And, you know, it's the same thing as like Issa Rae came on stage. Like, come on. So stuff like that excites me because 10 years ago, what we do right now was not around. YouTube was just about singing. It was not really heavily about like making your content, editing your content, shooting, like posting it, everybody getting a ring light, everybody got a tripod, like they got influencer houses, which we're gonna talk about in a minute. Like that was not a thing. So to see like you can make stuff and it be a real job, like that's cool to me. Okay. So let's get into the show. So anytime you do a remake or a spinoff, you have to be very careful because people are sensitive. Like the culture is sensitive about our stuff, right? Don't mess with our Aunt Viv. Don't mess with Will. Even the Proud Family new theme song, like people was tripping at first and now it's starting to it's starting to grow on me. But we was not feeling that at first, right? It's like those things that have cultivated and framed our culture, don't touch them, don't mess with them. So when we seen like Jeffrey is like this super fine Jamaican like bodyguard looking type dude, and then you got Uncle Phil, who is not big and fat, who is, you know, alpha and like debonair type and dark skin and bald, like, you know, like that's a different angle, right? You got Aunt Viv, who, you know, the culture has been divided on light skin or dark skin Aunt Viv, and it's really unfortunate. But just to see like pretty much everyone on our screen was brown skin or dark skin, let me tell you why that's unique and not something that usually happens, right? In our country and in the world, colorism is still a huge thing. Okay, in various races, they got the brown paper bag test, and if you are darker than a brown paper bag, then you're considered less than. You are not chosen for roles. If your hair is like 4C or 4D, like the tighter the curl, they're not choosing you, they're not picking you, right? Our country is very obsessed with lighter skin, mixed type of look, all of that. We're still, you know, we dealing with it, we talking about it, but that is a huge issue in our country. So a lot of times in the 90s, when you saw lighter skinned girls or lighter skinned women, they were in the more favorable roles. And the darker skinned women or girls, or I mean, darker skin, brown skin, whatever it is, they were like in the villain role, or they were like the mammy, or, you know, the loud one, the ghetto one. And that's still kind of true in certain shows, right? So when you see this one and you see that Hillary is Coco Jones, Hillary is, you know, she was a light skinned, bubbly, ditzy type. And Coco, they've reimagined her to now be Coco Jones, who is brown skin, who is still like super, got all the flavor and all the swag with the way that she dresses, but also it's still giving bougie realness as Hillary. But we don't have to just keep her in this bubble of just being light skinned. I don't know if he specifically sought out someone who was not light skinned. I don't know if that was his vision for this show, but it was refreshing to see an all Black show with different skin tones and them not just championing one skin tone and that being the lighter tone. Okay. So Coco Jones, well, let me back up. When I first saw like the first episode, I was already feeling it because I was like, I don't know none of these people, with the exception of, I think, Will's mom. I think she was in something before. I think I know her from something. But with the exception of her and Coco Jones, that was all the people I knew. Carlton was somebody I had never seen. The guy who played Will, the girl who played Ashley, Jeffrey, Jazz. We're gonna talk about him in a minute. Everybody was somebody that I had never seen. Okay. So that got me excited because it was like, okay, anytime you start off on a new show and it's a lot riding on it like this could be your breakout role. And it very much is. Like, each person carried their own in their own right, even down to Ashley's character. Everybody carried their own. And then, you know, in episode 7 and 8, they started to add, you know, some people we recognize. Michael Ealy and Dwayne Martin. I feel like there's a woman in there that I'm missing, but they added some people, you know, as the show went on. Okay. But okay, so in episode 1, the whole synopsis is, you know, Will is this huge star at his high school. Like, he's getting scouted. He got scouts coming to his basketball games. He's sinking all his shots. Like, he is that guy, right? His mom's a single parent. She's a nurse. Like, they live in Philly, and it is giving real Philly vibes. Now, I've never been. My grandpa's from there, and you guys know I watch the Scorpion show, and they're always, you know, they the way that they talk and the way that they speak and the way that they describe their town is very much what I envision when I see it. So I know a couple people from there too. But down to the slang, down to the streets, down to like the bikes and, you know, the hair, like that whole thing was apparently really close to what it actually is, right? Yes, for sure. Yes, give more Black actors and actresses an opportunity, please, please. So, okay, so So yeah, he's the it guy. You know, he's hanging with his friend. His friend's name is Trey. I think it's Trey, right? And just like boys do, guys do, somebody rolls up. He's like the bully. There's always a bully. He's the bully, and he's like basically talking his stuff like, you know, you can't beat me on the basketball court. If you can, meet me down at the court later on. But he flashes like a piece. To me, I'm already annoyed because I'm like, you already that guy at school. What do you got to prove in the streets? Like, my thing be, because he was so mad. Well, he wasn't mad. He was like bothered because his mom was like, you know, these scouts are looking at you at these other schools, like basically in the DMV area, like away from home. And he didn't want to leave home, which a lot of us don't. You know, when you feel like great in your setting, you're not trying to disrupt that because you don't know what else is out there. And that was her point. She's like, I want you to go out, go experience other things like outside of this area, right? Because what I think his mom wasn't saying, because she was staying more on the positive, is a lot of times when you stay in your regular main area, there are a lot of people who want to see you win and a whole lot of people who don't. Okay. A whole lot of people who are praying for your downfall, and they don't make themselves known until you get an opportunity and they're ready to snake you. Okay. And that's what happened, right? So already when he's like, yeah, we're gonna go down here, and his friends like, you ain't got nothing to prove. We don't have to go down there. I'm already annoyed because I'm just like, come on. But you know, this is reality. It's a 16-year-old boy. Like, this is what they do. So the friend is like, you know, he has the gun. And this is really important to the story, right? Because this manifests in other times throughout the season where I'm just like, why he just can't be real about what happened? Because it's not even like it was fully his fault. It was his fault that they went down there, but Trey brought the gun. Trey brought the gun. Okay, they get down there. He basically, you know, the town drug dealer, he basically places a bet. Will wins the game, and all the excitement. So the boy, the bully guy, he loses. He walks off. He throws the ball, and all the excitement. The ball hits the drug dealer guy, and he assumes that it was Will. Now, to me, that's already a hole because I'm just like, it was so like the setting and the feeling and the tone of the show was just so serious and so like you really were afraid that something was going to happen. There was like a huge eerie feeling. Like, it was nothing like that the theme song of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when he's spinning on the guy on the basketball court and you're laughing. Like, this is a total opposite. I was like, oh, like something about to really go down. So in all the hubbub, they like jump in his friend. And so of course now you feel obligated to jump in, but you can't really jump in because you're both outnumbered. So he goes to grab the piece, he shoots it in the air to me, shoot it in the air, grab your friend, run. I don't know, to me, right? But in that moment, you know, the cops show up and the friend runs away. The friend gets gone, and him and the drug dealer go to jail. Now, I don't understand why the drug dealer got it so bad for Will. I'm like, and I'm gonna stop calling him a drug dealer, Rashad Denton. I'm like, why you got it out so bad for him? Is it more like jealousy? Is it because your ego's bruised because a ball hit you? Like, it just was really heavy. Like, I would have expected that part be made a little bit more intricate because in the grand scheme of things, I just didn't understand why he was so mad like that. You know, like he beat the dude. Maybe it was his mouth, like, because he was pointing the gun. Yeah, he was pointing the gun at him. So, okay, I guess that would make you mad. Okay. So they end up in jail. He's like freaking out in jail. Even that part was like raw, gritty. Like, he's crying, he's shaking. Rashad sitting on the other side in the other cell, like doing like this. Like, it is not looking good for my guy. When I tell y'all the days and the progression of the show was just so quick because one time we seen him at the game, he's talking to his mom after the little girl's coming up to him. That night he gets into the thing with Rashad. He spends the night in jail. He gets sprung out of jail. His mama got him in the car going on the way to the airport, says that you moving to Belair, okay? Because my mom got scared. She said, you moving with your auntie and uncle in Belair. Yes. So he's on the plane. I don't even think the man showered. Okay. And we see Jazz. Now, Jazz, I don't really remember the origin of that relationship, because yes, Jazz was driving. So I guess Jazz would have been older. But it was interesting to me because it was like, okay, Jazz got to be Hillary's age, which, okay, on the show makes sense. He was trying to get at Hillary in Prince of Bel-Air, but it was still just weird to me because Jazz and him was such like great friends. But it was weird to think like, oh, Jazz is older. Like they don't go to school together. I guess the whole time I watched the 90s show, I just was like, Jazz went to a different school. But Jazz literally drove. But even when he was trying to get at Hillary, I was like, oh, he's just, trying to get at somebody who's a little older than him. Like, I think that's what I thought, right? But this Jazz, he's smooth. Y'all, he has such pretty skin. He was so pretty to me, just very pretty, right? And he's like goal oriented. Apparently, he was from Philly as well, I think. Either he's from Philly or he just recognized that Will is from Philly just by, how he looks, how he carries himself. And he just was, Jazz had multiple businesses, like lucrative businesses. Jazz was not a clown. And that was different for me to see because I was like, okay, Jazz. Okay, Jazz, I see you, Jazz. So, and I don't even think there's like a comedic relief. Like Will is a comedic relief, but he also has like layers. He's also very deep in his own right. He also has a lot of character development. He has a lot of different emotions that he feels. He goes through different things. So I don't think that there's one person that like gets it easy on the show. Like not a one. Everybody carries their own is what I'm saying. I'm gonna take a sip. So in that first episode, they're having a party at the house. And Uncle Phil, like, he looked a little embarrassed of Will because Will come in there on his slang stuff and he not used to all this bougie activity going on. Okay, he's like, oh, what's up? How you doing? Like, he's dapping all the black judges up. And, Hillary is the cousin that he seems the closest to. But of course, Hillary is a lot like me. Okay. But the reason why I feel like he's the closest to Hillary is because Hillary is somebody who she's on her gap year. There's that again. This is a very progressive show, right? She's on her gap year. She's finding herself. She's worked at different jobs. She was in school. She dropped out of school. And she's just like really comfortable in herself. And she knows who she is, but she don't know what she should be doing. She reminds me of myself, okay? That's why I love Coco Jones, though. But y'all know Coco Jones sings down. She sings down. She has the show with Terrell, the cooking show right now. She was on Disney Channel for a long time, but for a movie and got famous off of that. But I don't know. I've just come to really like her, like as a person, as a whole, like creator, right? So let me see, because I'm not gonna do episode by episode, but I do want to take my time to discuss a couple things from this season because we didn't get to review it episode by episode. So yeah, he walks in, he sees Aunt Viv. Aunt Viv like is able to show her Philly side because this is her nephew that she hasn't seen. But we start to see that Aunt Viv and Aunt Vi, or Will's mom, they don't really get along. They kind of got a flawed relationship, right? And there's a lot of layers with that. What I don't understand is why we were so pressed about Will meeting Lou, who is his dad. Okay, because the way Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil was looking and reacting, they was like, they don't want him to meet him at all. At all. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out why. Like, what's the tea, sis? Like, what, like, is Will really your son? Because that's what it was given. It was kind of given that. But we'll see. Okay. So let's see. Let's break down some of these characters, right? So let's start with Carlton, because I could not stand Carlton for probably most of season 1. Even though I understood that he has anxiety, he is, like that short man syndrome complex type thing where, you're always trying to be the biggest and the best at everything. You're like overcompensating. I understand that part, but they really played up this villain role. Like, he was not nice at all. At all. I'm like, I was like, is this this is crazy. Like he, from the time he walked in and he was just like, oh, let's talk about why you really here. Because, you know, the whole reason that they were saying that Will moved there is for a better education, right? But, you know, Will was just kind of his fun-loving self, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And Carlton was just like, yeah, no, like, this is my turf. I run this. We're going to see how things go when we get to school. Like, it was just very, like, just nasty. Like, and you would hope that nobody would be nasty towards you like that, because he goes to like lacrosse practice. Will goes over there. He finds Lisa, who I also like how different Lisa looks as well. Lisa was very much brown skin girl, natural hair, natural hairstyles. Like she's not super skinny, not super small. Like, and I mean, I've followed her Instagram. Like, so I've seen her now. She has lost weight, but I just like the way that they went, the direction that they went with Lisa, because it wasn't just like, she looked like us, like one of us, around the way girl, like for real, not like some supermodel type, you know. And that kind of made Will wasn't such a player either. Like the girls were on him, but not really. Okay, so anyway, Carlton's ex is Lisa. That was interesting because I was just like, okay, because Carlton could never, but okay. And you know, you see that Carlton is really struggling with, he has worked, his whole thing is like he's worked so hard to have this persona at his school. And he's like the class president, the captain of the lacrosse team, and like his grades are super high. And we know all that to be true from the sitcom, but we would only have certain times when we would really see the severity behind Carlton wanting and needing to be the best. Like, you know, when he was on the drugs and, you know, when he was in the hospital, like those were episodes that manifested in the sitcom. So it was interesting to see like his habit of him like doing this Xanax, like snorting it up his nose to like cope and maintain, because he had really, really bad anxiety. And then that also manifested into just being really nasty and ugly towards his cousin, like so much to the point where he teamed up with Connor. And we get this moment where Connor's saying the N-word, and I was ready to hop through the screen like, what is going on? Like, and Carlton is caping for him, and this is when Will is kind of starting to see like, oh yeah, we not kids no more, and like we definitely ain't in Philly, and you definitely ain't the type of black that I'm used to. So it's not that Will is just so perfect, because Will starts to learn like he can't deal with everything with fighting, because that is his mentality, because that's what he's seen where he's come up, you know. But also too, it's like, Carlton, you got to have a spine, baby. You can't just be in there just letting people just saying your kind of thing, because he walking around saying, oh, it's just a word, just word, just word. But I'm talking about down to, you know, really just not wanting Will to win, leaving. He don't have no right to school. The Aunt Vi gives him the keys to the Lexus, like just making things really hard for him at school, not helping him fit in. He's giving a speech in front of the class, like he makes him feel less than based on where he's from, and like talking about underprivileged schools. He tells him to stay away from old girl. He sees Will and Lisa at this pool party, pushes Will in the pool. They get to fighting. Like it is a whole thing. And I'm talking about episode after episode where they are just like going at each other. And I cannot say for sure that Will was even going at him that bad. Like Carlton was really just nasty towards Will. And like, even all those times when they tried to work together, I think they started to come together after they went to the frat with Uncle Phil, the crawfish boil. But I don't think it really hit until he almost not OD, but he was like freaking out at Lisa's mom's memorial thing, the lupus awareness auction, silent auction thing. And then when they moms was getting into it, I think that's kind of when we saw this turning point. But I was like, they really developed Carlton's character and really played up the anxiety and how he copes, and you know, him wanting to be like his dad and him willing to do anything to fit in, and like playing on vulnerabilities. Like that What's crazy now? What I don't see Carlton doing is hitting one of these right here. He not gonna hit one of those. Like we're not getting. If we're getting comedy, it's gonna be from Hillary or Will. Like we not getting. And Jeffrey kind of be giving some comedy a little bit, but it'd be real stone cold. But anyway, so yeah, so that's Carlton's character. He's coming on out. I'm starting to like him a little bit more by 10 seconds left in episode 7. I think I was finally on Carlton's side, but I was still like, I'm still watching you because you're doing a little too much. Okay, Ashley. Ashley's character is interesting because nowadays in TV they always got to introduce that aspect to include to make sure that there's inclusivity and diversity. They always got to include the LGBTQ community, and in this way, they did that by having Ashley be queer, right? So we haven't seen her come out to her parents, but she does come out to Hillary, and Hillary is very warm and receptive to that. And we see Ashley go off and kind of hang with her friends and kind of see her development or trying to navigate like her feelings and her first love. And Hillary really takes like more of a big sister mentor role with her. I think it didn't surprise me. Like I kind of was able to say it as it was unfolding. And I do think that it's needed. And I do think that she would be the perfect one to carry that. But I don't know. I just was like, okay, I understand it's like a box that we have to check. Like we have to include it. And I do think that it was introduced really well. It was added really well. It made sense with who it was. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I noticed that there was no little Nicky. So are they just not going to include him? Or is it going to be some scandalous thing? Like Ashley thought she was the last one. And then we realized like he got switched at birth or something. Like, I want to know because the way that they write in these scenes are just so epic that it's just like, dang, like this is crazy. Okay, let's move on to Jeffrey. So Jeffrey is Jamaican. By the way, too, this house is amazing. It's huge. It's nice. Giving me all kind of Cali realness, palm trees and hills and very scenic and all that. But Jeffrey is very debonair, close-fitting suit, not a butler suit with tails or anything like that. Like close-fitting, buff, body, like facial hair, deep voice, like intentional in the face. I was just like, okay, Jeffrey. Okay, Jeffrey. So yeah, he's given that. He's kind of given a 007 James Bond type of thing. Anything that Uncle Phil asks, he takes care of it, hands down. Like I'm talking about, he probably got a couple bodies on him. Okay, like he takes care of whatever Uncle Phil asks, right? And he's also, so he has an accent, but it's Jamaican instead of British. And yeah, so that's his main role. But he always knows what's going on with like each child. Even when Ashley snuck off, he knew exactly where she was. He came in there, he got her together, he talks to her, he gives the advice, right? He speaks when there needs to be words that he speaks when words need to be said, but he's not the one that's like laughing, giggling. He's very much an observer. Like he observes everything that's going on, brings that back to Uncle Phil, gives his little 2 cents when it's needed. Like we like Jeffrey. Jeffrey is the glue. Jeffrey is the glue. Okay. Will is definitely the glue as well, but Jeffrey is the glue too, because he kind of like he peeps game for a lot of things and takes care of a lot of things that people don't see and people don't know. Okay. Let me see. And Jeffrey was trying to get at Vi's or Aunt Viv's friend, and I was like, okay, Jeffrey, hold on, because it's supposed to be me and you. Okay. Let me make sure this is shared on Twitter, y'all, while we're still sitting here and still going. Okay, so we've talked about Jeffrey. We've talked about Carlton. We've talked about Ashley. Aunt Viv. We know that Aunt Viv was also a complex character because she did teach art history, but she is someone who has birthed all these kids. She's very much into whatever her husband is doing. And we see that within the show, right? She's very supportive of her husband and anything that she needs, whatever benefit, whatever like not she needs, he needs, whatever benefit, whatever, like anything that requires a wife to be at, like down to her image and how her hair looks, like she gonna be there, right? And so we get a little bit complexity with her because we see that she wants to return. First of all, she's in a sorority, right? And so we see like these four women who they come to a lot of her things at her house. They are really close and know Hillary. Hold on, can't do two things at once. But yeah, so she's really close to them, right? So that's some different levels. Lisa's mom, who passed away from lupus, or I think it was lupus. She passed away. It might be cancer. I know that she had lupus, but I don't know like how she succumbed, to her death. But she was really close to her. So down to the point where Lisa calls her her aunt, calls Aunt Viv her aunt. So yeah. I like to make sure. So yeah. So let me back up. So yeah, she wants to pick her art back up, but she doesn't know how to do that and still be a supportive wife. Because a lot of us, that is still her job as a wife and a mother is still very heavy. She has things that she has to be at, things that she needs to do. Like, so it's very hard for her to now say, like, I want to pick my art back up. So she does, but she doesn't go around and broadcast it because she's still very nervous. Still doesn't feel like she still has it. Feels like it's kind of faded away, right? Until her husband kind of says that she used to be an artist. This kind of triggers her. This is where Ely's character comes in. Y'all know he's always ready to swoop in and take somebody's something, okay? But he kind of lets her know, like, you got it. And there's different intricacies within her, coming out, imagining herself as an artist and going off and seeing about herself, but then her husband coming because he's jealous about this interaction with Ely, but her still wanting to challenge herself and getting like that is a whole thing, right? A whole thing. And then we see like with Aunt Vi, Will's mom, she fell away because she's the oldest, or she's older than her, right? So she's the one who made all these sacrifices. And usually the oldest child is the one that's like there for the parent more, or there like helps take care of the siblings more. So when your sibling goes off and, flourishes, you do feel indebted because maybe you didn't get to do it that way or whatever. And so we see that with Will's mom. Will's mom is like, I bought you your first canvas, your first set of paints, like, and, we told you to go off and do that. And then you married him. And then you made this whole thing about, just being the wife and being the mom. And like because of, all that we did and all that we sacrificed, you need to be doing the art. Like, that was her whole thing. She also felt like Aunt Viv was trying to replace her because even like with the birthday stuff, she got like a bigger and better gift. All Aunt Vi got was this picture of her and Will when they were kids. But Aunt Viv is always one upping because she got money, because she got access, right? So she feels like she's stepping on her toes. And there's an insecurity there because of course you can provide all these different things for my son. He didn't even want to come back home when Rashad Denton, listen, when Jeffrey killed him, okay, he didn't want to come back home. So of course she feels like, I did all this sacrifice and this working for my son, and I did what was best for my son at the time, and he don't even want to come back to me. So of course there's a way that she feels about that. So that is a different, we're trying to navigate that as well. Uncle Phil he's also has levels as well, right? Because he's this guy that's from North Carolina. He pledges well. What was his doggone name? Some real country, right? But they called him that in the fraternity as well. And he's kind of out of touch. Like, he wasn't on the Breakfast Club, but he was on Big Tigger show, and the Black community just not feeling him. They like, nah, Mr. Banks, he sit up there, he count all his money. Like, we're not in touch with him. Even people that he was cool with back in the day. They not in touch with him. Really, really, really need and trying to get the Black vote, right? But unfortunately, in this time, that means that you really do have to discuss like the issues because we are being shot and killed out here and hunted down and stereotyped and all these different things, right? So if you're gonna run for district attorney and you want our vote, you have to be about real issues. And unfortunately, that is hard to do. We've seen that it's hard to do for Black, I'm not just going to say exclusively Republicans, but Black people who have money and who have access, because in their daily walk, they are not faced with that. Now, we did see that happen with Carlton, right? When the house party was going on, but they're not faced with that. They don't have to deal with that. That's not their experience. And that's what they're trying to show Uncle Phil. So when Uncle Phil starts stepping at that crawfish boil, and anytime somebody step, I get goosebumps because that's like my whole thing. But he starts stepping and he starts feeling like this is my people. This is what I need to be doing. I feel my purpose. I feel like all that is because of Will. Will brings a certain flair, a certain thing. And I'm going to get off the characters for just a minute, but this is what I was saying about the show. Sometimes, most times, there is always a hater in the wings trying to stifle your growth, trying to hinder you from being you because they're hating on how easy it is for you, right? Carlton swore that it was going to be so hard for Will to fit in because, you're just hood trash. You're not going to be able to fit in my world because, we wear uniforms and we speak correctly. And, that's not our experience. We don't fight to deal with conflict. We debate, that was his whole thing. But the thing about Will is he has a certain charisma. He has a certain way that he views the world, a certain way that he positions himself, that no matter where he's at and what he does, people are going to like him, right? And so my lesson and my thing that I kept saying is you got to stay the course on whoever it is you are and whatever it is that you want to do, because it is always going to be a hater somewhere who don't want you to win. Connor tried to say him up and put them drugs in his bag. And sure, Carlton fixed it so that it didn't come out or whatever it is, whoever fixed what. But it's like they couldn't keep Will down because at the very end of the day, Will's still going to be Will. He's not going to be nasty towards you, angry towards you. And you're always going to fall in love with a character like that. Because so many people out here are like, oh, that person did that to you. You need to get them back. You need to do that back. And it's good to see, I know it's just a TV show, but it's good to see that at the very core, like people are still good-hearted to know, like if somebody is mean to you or wrong to you, like Will had this like dumbfounding loyalty towards Carlton. I was just like, you need to mess him up, okay? Because he is coming at you crazy. He is doing you all types of crazy, and he don't care. He don't care. And you keep saying, I'm not going to do Carlton like that. I made a promise. But it was just like, he don't even deserve this loyalty because he just did you so wrong, right? Anyway, back to the characters. So I feel like Will is the special sauce that definitely was needed. So Hillary is a more progressive Hillary now, right? Because we know that she was very surface level and very like, pretty and always trying to do like the glamorous type job, like, oh, I'm the perfume girl now, or I'm the new weather girl, like I can point, right? So I thought it was a very cool way to reinvent her, of making her like a social media content creator. And she's not even so much a content creator as she is like an influencer, right? She's on there, she's on live, she's talking to her people, but she's asking like real questions that the people want to know. And it's like really substantial. She got 75,000 followers who today, older generations, they don't fully understand. I think they've kind of seen it now and are starting to understand how much power you have if your social media is like, once you get past 10,000 followers, like you in there. And really, once you get past 5,000, like you in there, right? I think they're starting to understand, but I don't think they really understand the magnitude of like what can all happen with a phone and a tripod and a ring light and Wi-Fi. Okay. if you are talented, sky's the limit once you get that phone, right? And so that's Hillary's whole thing. She's a cook, and Coco Jones really does cook, right? So she's making all these recipes, and her mom, because her mom is like Gen X. They're the ones who are like, I want to say they're in their 50s right now, but they're born like in the 1960s type era. So for them, their thing was get a 9 to 5, work your 9 to 5, retire from your 9 to 5, get your insurance. Like, don't be out here playing. Like, your playtime was college, finish college, get your degree, do all that you need to do, right? And that's how Aunt Viv is. She's like, you need to pick something and do it. You need to work a job. You talking about a gap year? Like, we learned about gap year with Blackish, but I know for sure, like, I didn't have a gap year, but if I would have had a gap year, maybe I would have, been able to finish. I kind of did have a gap year after 2 years. Like, there was a time where it was like, okay, I need to figure out what I really want to do. Like, I know I really love this, but this is not out there yet. I was editing videos. Hold on. I was making videos with my webcam, editing on Windows Movie Maker. I was singing in front of my webcam. I would like edit videos with different pictures and trade them back and forth with my boyfriend at the time with Windows Movie Maker, with music and like different, like I had a little camcorder with a little SD cord. Like, I was doing all that, but I didn't know what it was called. I knew I didn't want to like make movies. I didn't want to go all the way there with it, right? But because it wasn't a thing, I was like, okay, I'm a major in music. I don't really know. Like, took some time to really like gather my thoughts and figure out like what I wanted to do, and still didn't know because it still wasn't a thing. So for me, seeing Hillary is like, okay, she got her gap year, she got her followers, and she's really good at this. She's really good at social media, dressing people like how she dressed Will so quickly. She's overall just a positive person, high energy, fun person to be around. But what is that? What is that job? Like, could you work in insurance? Could you go door to door? Could you be customer service? No, because ultimately you're not doing what you want to do. I think what's confusing about millennial generation and Gen Z is that most of us, and they said this on the show, most of us like want to do something that is fulfilling, and it's not somebody's 9 to 5. It is your own 9 to 5, or you doing something that is you doing all of it. You are the art. You are the center of attention. It's not some company, some business, anything like that. Okay, and so the whole time, because she's a daddy's girl, Uncle Phil understands it. He's just like, whatever you need, whatever access you need, whatever you want to do, like, we're here for you. We got you. Viv is like, no, because even in front of her girlfriends, and Hillary says like, no, I dropped out. Like, she's real and raw. And Aunt Viv is like, girl, you be self-sabotaging. Like, I'm trying to set you up. I'm trying to get you out there. And you just insist on butting heads. But I don't think that's what it is. I think Hillary is just, she knows what she shouldn't be doing. She knows what she don't want to do. But she can't quite pinpoint what she should be doing. It is really hard for people like that because, like, am I good at this? Yeah, of course. Sure, I'm good at it. But does it fulfill me? Does it fuel me? No. So I'm not going to last long at this. And that's how I am. So I completely understand it. Jazz, we kind of already talked about him, but Jazz owns a record store. He got this super nice car. I guess he be Ubering. He's really like wise. Has all this style, like very like thoughtful, and he has this thing going on with Hillary, but he's also really there for Will. Like, I really, really like Jazz's character because he's endearing. Like, he just is so needed. Every character is so needed. Love Jazz's character. Okay, we've been on here for a really long time, so I'm trying to wrap it up. I think I have discussed everyone. Of course, you have your other characters like Lisa, Connor. Listen, you got Will's friend Trey, and you would have thought Trey and Will had something going on, honey, because he was acting. He was like, I am not trying to leave. We going back. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. Anyway, y'all comment your thoughts down below. Oh, Yamacraw. That's what Uncle Phil's name was. Y'all comment your thoughts on the show down below. Maybe we can do another video discussing it. Like, what was your favorite part, your favorite episode, something that really made you think, something that you're so glad that they included, your favorite character. Maybe if you didn't like the show, let me know. Like, why didn't you like it? If you haven't seen it yet, if you have Xfinity, which we have Xfinity, it was actually free on Peacock, but I'm just like my mind is blown that the show was really that good. I don't think that I was like expecting it to be bad, but I wasn't expecting it to be as good just because these remakes and spinoffs, like, they don't be hitting as hard as the original. Oh, I didn't talk about Will. Did I talk about Will? Not really. Okay, Will, I really like Will's character because, and I liked Will on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I think this Will he has layers. The Will on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had layers too, but we're able to see like his PTSD. We're able to see like him not being such a player, like how nice he is to Lisa, how he respects that line of like being friends, like how he's like, really trying to get in there with the family and trying to figure out how he can assimilate, how he was like super angry about being there. But my whole thing was, why he gotta walk around saying that he's there for a better education? I understand Uncle Phil pulled these strings, but technically, what did Will do wrong? Like, he was defending his friend who was being jumped. I guess it's the whole gun part. I guess that's the part, but I don't know. I want to know what's up with Lou. Why is it so hush hush? Why is it so crazy of a thing, like, for us to not want to see Lou? I want to see if Michael Ealy gonna try something because he got out of it because Uncle Phil showed up, and Uncle Phil's a little disrespectful, but Michael Ealy, he too smooth all the time. But I want to see if Aunt Vi really gonna sew her up, like she gonna do her thing with her art and not cheat on her husband. I want to see. I want to see how Lisa and Will go. Like, is Lisa gonna get pregnant? Is this gonna be a whole Ashanti Coach Carter type thing? Like, how long is we gonna go on with the show is my thing, because it can't be too much of a coming of age, because we could do a whole college part. We really could. But I was just thinking, he only has like a year or two left of high school. And, once you start getting in college, is he staying at the house? Does somebody get a spinoff? I'm probably thinking too far ahead. But I'm just really interested in this show. Like, I'm ready to see it. Like, I feel really great about the show, and I want to know what you guys think. We've been on here for 54 minutes. We did it. We pulled it out somehow. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to my channel, and fully, really, truly let me know what you thought about this season. I will be back for season 2, and y'all know I don't like making too many promises because my job is crazy. I'm Cameron. This is Cameron Music TV, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Yeah.